Hey guys, welcome back to the Pageant project. As you can see, I'm out and about. I have a rare opportunity to actually go meet up with one of my Australian pageant friends today. So I'm on my way to the train station, which is something I don't very often do. I prefer driving. I used to take the train all the time when I was in school. Actually, you know what? The trains aren't bad here. I don't mind the trains. I didn't like it when I was back in school. It was very, very crowded, but hopefully today, because I'm going a bit later, should be fine. Anyway, for this week's video, I'm going to keep it short because I'm on my way to the train station. And if you hear me running out of breath, it's because I'm going up this hill. I wanted to run a crazy idea past you about pageant judging and perhaps a way in which we could change it so that we could, I don't want to put the most deserving, I don't want to use the word deserving, but the most suitable or qualified candidate, increase the chances of us choosing the most qualified candidate for the job of pageant queen, whichever system we're talking about. Understanding that each system obviously is looking for something slightly different. But I feel, and hear me out on this, I feel the way pageant judging is done at the moment, by and large, is designed to choose the contestant who performs best just on that one night. Or if it's several days and there's several days of judging, it's designed to pick the contestant who performs best on those few days. What if we changed it so that instead of picking the contestant who performed best just on that night, we pick the contestant who was best qualified to perform the job over the entire year? Now, I say this is a crazy idea because it would take some changes. So rather than, for example, you're just judging interview and then gown and then swimsuit and then talent, you have to start looking for something a bit different. I think you're going to have to start looking at a contestant's track record of commitment, professionalism, the ways in which they communicate, how engaging are they on social media? Do they know how to brand and market? So can they help you build your business? So I'll take a very specific case. So for example, if you just crown the queen who happens to walk best on the night and looks best on the night, but you're a director and you want your title holder to help you obviously grow your business, which is your pageant business. So the metric of that is you want more people competing, sorry about the wind, you want more people competing, more girls competing next year than this year. If, however, you pick a title holder based on how well she walks on stage and the fact that she has a six-pack or whatever, there's no guarantee that you're going to pick someone who either is interested in helping you grow the business, and B, even if she is interested, has the skill set to help you grow the business. Because how they walk on stage is no measure or metric of how qualified they are or how able they are to help you grow your pageant business. There's a not very pleasant smell as I'm walking past this garden. I think someone has spread manure on it. Anyway, so put yourself in the shoes of the director and think about what you want from a title holder. I know this is probably a bit different from most of you. Most of you are contestants, and there's a tendency sometimes, I feel, in the industry to demonize directors. And yes, there are dodgy directors, but there are also dodgy contestants, let's be honest. But put yourself in the shoes of a director. What would they want from their ideal title holder? As I said, I think someone who can help grow the business, someone who is going to be a genuine role model. That means they need to be responsible, show up on time, professional. They need to be able to communicate in a way that's very relatable, yet still very articulate. You want them to come across as intelligent without being sort of ostracizing. I would assume you want them to be able to build a rapport with a wide range of different types of people, different age groups, primarily your target demographic, which would probably be young women because we're talking about a pageant here. But if you just think about that, and I'm sure you can come up with some different ideas as well, but the way that pageants are generally judged at the moment doesn't map at all, in my view anyway, doesn't map at all to any of those qualities. And then it's not really surprising when you think about that you see quite often that systems will crown a certain title holder, and then let's say the title holder does absolutely nothing for the entire year. Or there have been several high-profile cases recently of title holders resigning, or directors saying they fired them, whoever you believe. But you can see there's this big mismatch between what the system wanted, or the director wanted, and what the title holder wanted. And I think we should be using our scoring system to more accurately pick the best contestant for the year-long job that is a title holder. Now, I know that might sound a little bit, you're putting the power in the hands of the system or the director, but let's think about this. You want the system and director to be very upfront about who they want, right? The qualities they want, and also the qualities that they don't want, or the qualities to them that don't really matter that much. For example, advocacy. Some systems place a very high priority on it. Some say, they talk a good game, but actually, if you look at the scoring, it's very, very low on the ladder. You want to know this. Even if you don't agree with it, you want to know this before you commit blood, sweat, and tears to that system, right? You don't want to have to compete for or prepare for 3 months, 6 months, put all the money and time into it, and then find out, hey, I'm not actually what they're looking for, and I never actually had a chance. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because this happens so many times. I've heard this so many times, and I'm sure you have. You have girls who compete, prepare for an entire year, they think it's their dream title, they get to compete, and then they realize, actually, I never had a chance of winning. And so I think if we can back up, I'm always about transparency, back up and have a scoring system that selects someone who's going to be the best contestant for the job of a title holder for an entire year, versus having a scoring system that simply picks the person, the girl, who looks best or talks best on the night or the few days of the competition. So I'm about to get to the train station. Let me know your thoughts. I don't think this is particularly hard to implement, bear in mind. But I do think it's going to take a shift in mindset, because it would be a very different way of scoring. And a lot of people are just against change in general. It's like, oh, well, the way we've done it in the past has always worked, so we're going to keep doing it. Well, I would argue that it's not working, certainly not as well as it could. And I think changing the scoring system can go a long way, and being transparent about it can go a long way to fixing that. The other part that I will say is that you need to pick judges who are qualified, knowledgeable, and care enough to implement such a scoring system, because your scoring system is only as rigorous as the people who are applying it. So let me know your thoughts. I know it's a bit of a different way of looking at pageant judging, but it really stuck with me, because I saw this phrase the other night. It's like, well, pick the person, pick the title holder, or pick the contestant who's going to be best for the year-long job, rather than someone who just looks good on the night. And that really stuck with me. So let me know your thoughts. How would you change scoring? Because I know you have ideas. I know you do. It'd be very rare that people go, yes, scoring is perfect the way it is. Let me know your thoughts. How would you change pageant scoring? Not so that you would win, okay, but so that the most deserving contestant, or the best suited, I shouldn't use deserving, that's the contestant that's best suited for the job of being the title holder for that system, is actually selected. Let me know what you think.